lesson, we will learn and compare key referencing styles suitable for different disciplines and demonstrate how to employ these in different types of work. If you are summarizing, paraphrasing, or directly quoting from someone else, you need to include a reference to where you got the work from. In this lesson, we are going to give you an understanding of referencing and how to cite other people. This will help you follow the general academic conventions of referencing and citation, but you might need to check what specific styles are required of you. Different universities or disciplines might even use different conventions, so it is important to learn what might be required of you locally. The library at your institution can help you with the different styles. You might want to think about downloading a citation tool, such as Zotero or EndNote. These can not only help you to track your citations and insert them where you need them, but are also great for keeping a personal library for you with a record of all the sources that you have used and accessed. Of course, you'll still need to know how to do all of the referencing yourself for when you can't access your tool. So let's now learn how to reference properly and where and when you should be citing other people. We need to think about why citation is important and its place in academic integrity. As you have already explored in the other lessons of this course, integrity is very important for you for so many reasons, but one of the key areas related to this lesson is that of academic integrity. To show that you have integrity in your work, you have to represent the ideas and work of other people correctly. To do this in written work of any kind, you need to cite your sources. To cite your sources means to tell the reader of your work where you got the original work from. This might be directly, like a website, or it could be an author's name and year. Sometimes it might be general, because you are talking about concepts that were covered in a podcast or a blog post, where there were different people talking or writing, for example. Whatever your source is, and wherever you got your information from, you need to show people. This is done by placing a citation before or after the quote, or the section of text which is representing the ideas and words of someone else. The key thing to remember about citation is that even if you get it a little bit wrong and might have used the wrong style or academic convention, if you have demonstrated that the work isn't yours, have referenced it in some way, you are presenting academic integrity in your work, and there is no risk of plagiarism. Citations are most commonly put within the body of the text, but in some disciplines and styles, it might be put as a footnote or endnote. There are many citation styles. For these examples, we are going to use a general academic convention related to the APA or Harvard styles. The important thing to do is to show in the text the name and the year of the publication or source that you got the work or idea from, which is done in brackets, also known as parentheses, before or after the section of text. This is a common style used in many disciplines, including the humanities, languages, social sciences, and education. The first example we will look at is the style which uses brackets or parentheses in the text next to the section which has come from somewhere else. It includes only the year in the text, and the example uses the author's surnames as part of the sentence. However, in this second example, we can see that the names are included in the brackets because they are not part of the sentence. If you are inserting a direct quote from someone, meaning the exact word that have been used, the difference is that you must also include the page number from where you got that exact quote and insert this after the quote. If this is from a video or audio recording and you are quoting someone, you would include the exact time that this was said. Within the body of the text, you only include the names and the year of the publication. The detail of the whole source is then included at the end of your work in a reference section. This is what the reference would look like at the end of the work in the APA style. You will see that you start with the author's names, but this time you add their initials and separate them with the comma. The date comes in brackets, and then the name of the publication, in this case a book, comes in italics, followed by the publisher. This book also has an edition number, which comes after the title. Not all books will have an edition number, as it might be a standalone book and not part of a series. Some books also have a publisher location if it was published in print from a specific location. These are now not always included, and some books are published online only, and so don't have a published location or are published at multiple locations. Many styles don't require a publisher location anymore, so you should check your specific style guide for this. You can check whether the book you are using has a specific location by checking its details online or looking inside the front cover. If you are referencing a chapter in a book, you would need to add more detail to show who the editors were, the name of the book, and then the chapter and the page numbers. This is only necessary if the book is made up of chapters from different authors. If the book is in a series and there has been more than one, you would also state which edition it is. For referencing journals, it is very similar. You always put the name and year of the source in the text, but at the end you include more detail in your references section. If we look at the details, we see that similar to books, the name of the publication is in italics, which in this case is the Journal of Contemporary Education Theory and Research. The volume number comes next, followed by the issue, 4 and 1 into brackets. It is important for journals that you also include the page numbers of the article and then the link to the article, which should connect to the DOI of the article. DOI means Digital Object Identifier. For a radio show or podcast, we would name the person who presented the show with the exact date and include the show name, a degree of fraud, the program section, if it has one, BBC Radio 4, seriously, and the radio station provider, BBC. We also include the link to how people can access it, like with the journal articles. Like with a radio, podcast or TV show, for a blog post, you also include the exact date that it came out. You include the author, date, title of the blog, and the web page and link that the blog was included on. This is also the same for other types of media, where the information or image was released on a specific day. If you are referencing a conference paper, you need to include the name of the conference after the title of the conference paper with paper numbers, although this may not always be available if the paper hasn't its own link. And then the web link so that people can go directly to the document. For web pages, you would not need to include name and date in the text. You would put the web page link only or the title of the web page. In your references section, you would also add the date that you accessed on the web page. This is important, as often web pages are changed and updated, so when you access it, might mean that you saw different content from someone looking sometimes in the future. If you use a citation tool, when you save the web page to your library, it will automatically timestamp the page for you, making it very easy. There are many other items that you might be referencing that are not as common as these examples, but the library or your study support teams can help you with more complicated or uncommon sources. Other styles that use footnotes or endnotes would simply place a number after the text to direct people to the relevant reference. This would then either appear in the footnote at the bottom of that page or at the end of the document in numerical order. These styles relate to the IEEE or AMA and are most commonly used in scientific and medical disciplines. They might look like this in the text and like this in the references. The references included in the references section are not alphabetically ordered, but are numerically based on the order that they were presented throughout your work. You will also see that in this style, the publisher's location was included against the second resource. In this lesson, we have covered the method of citation and how you can cite different types of sources. The examples given were from the APA style, with a demonstration also of what the IEEE, which uses numbers and endnotes in numerical order, not alphabetical order, would look like. There are lots of different citation styles, so check which one your discipline uses and then you can test how to do it. Remember, there are lots of tools out there which can help you to do this and are also a great resource for saving your personal sources in your own digital library.